Well, hello everyone. I am Matt Williamson. How is everyone doing? So I am recording this. The draft is still going on, but the Steelers are done. I am at the facility. I can promise you that those in charge are not trying to trade back into the end of this terrible 7th round. So the picks are in the books for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 choices. We have talked about 4 of them. I wanted to recap day 3. I like what they did. Let's just dig right in. So follow me on Twitter at Williamson NFL. But with the 19th pick in the 4th round, 119 overall, I was shocked. They took their 3rd offensive lineman, Mason McCormick from South Dakota State. Those of you that follow me kind of closely are like, that's your guy, Williamson. And I bet half of you are like, why on earth would they take another interior lineman from South Dakota State of all places? Well, much like the guys that were drafted ahead of him, McCormick has a lot of experience, which is a win-now move. All of his experience in the college level is at guard, and he was a dominant player, as you would expect at South Dakota State. You know, it's not Bama. However, if you guys listened to me pre-draft, I said my favorite non-top 3 center, Frazier, Powers, Johnson, Barton from Duke, was Mason McCormick from South Dakota State. He has a center background. They just happen, the Jackrabbits, to have a great young center, and he was really good at guard, so he stayed at guard. But he is highly, highly center capable. Now, the Steelers announced him as a guard, and I think he will be a guard here. However, maybe he is your BJ Finney interior swing guy, but way more talented than BJ Finney. This guy is an excellent tester. He doesn't look quite as athletic as his testing. You know, I'm sure he prepped, with his jumps and runs and all that stuff, but he's a high-level athlete, really good vertical, really explosive. All those type of tests do translate to the field. Now, like I said, if they would have missed out on the top 3 centers, and they didn't, so we didn't have to go down this road, McCormick would have been somebody that I would have targeted with one of the 3rd-round picks. And maybe they agreed with me. I mean, I didn't obviously have this conversation with them, but they maybe thought of him the same way and decided, well, we really don't need another offensive lineman, but we love this dude, and he was our fallback plan. If we didn't land Frazier, there is the 3rd center. Let's take him anyway. And we'll see. Once we get to camp, we'll see if he gets cross-trained at center or not. I'm not suggesting that he will challenge Frazier. I don't think he will. I don't think that's why he was picked. But as is the case with several incumbents, I wonder, they've done this a couple years in a row where they've traded Dotson, they've traded Green. One more lineman can often yield you a future pick. And I wonder, I've been thinking this for a while with Herbig. I mean, I know his brother's on the team and he's popular, yada, yada. But he's a little big, heavy, slow-footed for this new scheme. And I don't think Herbig's a center. I know people have said, he could fill in at center. Nah. But if you could turn a 4th-round pick, McCormick, into a younger version of Herbig that fits your system a lot better, and a future pick, and a couple $1 million in cap space. And I'm not even saying Herbig's on the bubble. I'm just saying that's how that works. When it comes to cut time, somebody will give you something for Herbig. He's a good player. Or you just take them all to camp, or you take them all into the season and see how it works out, and you have a good young lineman. So I love this pick. I mean, it was a little bit of an embarrassment of riches, 3 offensive linemen that early, but it tells you what this team wants to do. They want to be rugged. They want to win in the trenches. And I think McCormick helps that a great deal. So I'm very fond of this pick. BetOnline continues to be your number 1 source for all your basketball wagering needs. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or your mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team, and remember to use promo code BELIEVE, that's capital BLEAV, for a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. So We had a long wait there. Mason McCormick goes 119. They didn't pick again till 178. Logan Lee, a defensive lineman from Iowa. And then shortly after, Ryan Watts, a defensive back from Texas, goes 195 overall. 2 6th-round picks. Now, this draft, as I told you guys many times leading up to the draft, really falls off a cliff after the 5th round. The 6th, 7th rounders are weaker than most drafts. I mean, I'm not even comparing it to the first rounds and stuff. I'm talking about 10 years ago, the 6th and 7th rounders. Last year, 6th, 7th. It's bad at the back of this particular draft. And a big reason is because so few underclassmen declared and some weird COVID stuff, and people are staying in because of the making money and, blah, blah, blah. But Logan Lee, to me, is someone Dick LeBeau would like as a 3-4 defensive end. He looks like Aaron Smith coming out of school. Aaron Smith was 6'5", 265 coming out of a small school. It needed a lot of strength and a lot of work. I'm not saying Logan Lee's going to be Brett Kiesel or Aaron Smith, folks. I'm just saying that's his style of play. He's tall. He's long. He's lean. He's too lean. He has batted down a lot of passes on a really good Iowa defense. I think there's something to be said for taking a defensive player from Iowa, and it's a really well-coached school to begin with, and a lot of toughness, a lot of things you can count on from Iowa guys, particularly their defenders. But he's also blocked a lot of kicks. I mean, he's a tall, long-armed guy. But he needs more sand in his pants. I mean, he needs to add, when I was at Pitt, we would recruit these guys and feed them steaks and lobsters, and they live in the weight room and put on 10, 15 pounds of good weight and lower body strength. I think that's what he needs. So that being said, if I were Isaiah Loudermilk and even Leal, I'd be a little worried about this guy that they took in the 6th round. I mean, for my job. And I think Lee's going to get a lot of attention in camp, play a buttload of preseason action, and then you probably don't hear from him again, And then maybe a year from now, we're talking about, wow, Logan Lee's up to 285, 290, looks like a different guy, thicker lower body, can handle one-on-one power, big-time blocks at the NFL level better, holds the point better, but there's something to work with here. So again, this isn't a rich spot of the draft. You're kind of throwing darts, but I'm fine with it, and this is a name that I'd mocked the Steelers before in this neighborhood. The last pick, Ryan Watts from Texas, frankly, I didn't know anything about him except for his name before the pick, and I've done a ton of homework on him since. Big-time recruit that went to Ohio State and then transferred to Texas. So, I mean, these are as big a time programs as there is in the league, of course. And he is another one. His traits, I mean, there are a few defensive. Some people think he's a safety. He's mostly been an outside corner. He's giant, and he looks like a male model. I mean, he looks like he's fresh out of Central Casting at 6'3", 208, 34.5-inch arms. I mean, are vines. I mean, he had a 40.5 vertical jump, ran a 4.53 at that height and weight. I mean, good broads, well over 10. I mean, like 10.5-foot broad. Change of direction stuff was really good, not tremendous. Now, watching him, studying him, he doesn't look like an amazing athlete like he tested. Okay. I mean, he would have been a first-round pick if he did. But there are traits there for sure. I mean, there is some lower body stiffness. I don't know that he's an outside corner that can flip his hips like Joey Porter Jr. But originally, just looking at him, I thought, boy, these guys have a type. Trice, Rush, Porter, huge corners, physical. And then the more I looked at him too, a lot of people think maybe he's a safety. Maybe, and he certainly has done some of this, and a lot of people project him as a slot defender versus tight ends, not Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, change of direction guys. He immediately projects as a star on special teams. Maybe he doesn't make the team. I don't know. But in terms of throwing darts late, this guy has traits, man. I mean, serious traits. I don't know much about I know nothing about his personality, work ethic, injury history, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But big old corners that have a lot of ability, just keep throwing them in the training camp mix and see what sticks. And before you know it, you might have 3 6'3" corners on this team that can all play at the NFL level. Maybe. I mean, again, Trice, Rush, and him, if even one of those guys hits, you have a 6th and 7th round investment total in those 3 guys. If one or two of those guys makes the team and hits or turns into a starter or a third guy or whatever, it's a great investment, return on investment. So, all right, folks, day 3 was fine. Day 2 was really good. Day 1 was awesome. But I really like this draft overall. I would bet next time we talk will be a big draft recap, and then maybe we'll go around the division or go around the league or whatever, compare it to some others, see what other moves there are. I still think a slot corner absolutely needs to be added in some capacity, and they need another big receiver. And I have some ideas on all those things. Cortland Sutton's one of them. Cam Sutton's one of them. Could you get 2 Suttons like you got 2 Wilsons yesterday? I'm just throwing it out there. They must have something in place. So, all right, everyone, take care. Thanks.